Hey everyone, so this is SVU season 18 episode 4. It's called Heightened Emotions. And this episode is about a woman who had gone to a bar, or like a hotel bar, I think. She picked well, first you see her with her you see her on a treadmill running, and her husband's like, sweetie, get off, you need to kind of take a break or whatever. She's like, one more mile. And then you see her go to the at this hotel bar, I think, and then she's had like 5 or 6 shots by this point. 6 shots because she said maybe lucky number seven will help me. Um, and then before she gets that seventh shot, you see her, approach this guy who's, checking her out. Um, and next thing you know, she you see her with a rip with the hem of her dress ripped, or somewhere on the bottom of her dress it's ripped, and she's jumping from rooftop to rooftop, and she ends up getting, her dress ripped, her or not her dress ripped, but her she ends up getting the police called on her, and she's taken to the hospital. Um, while that's going on, Rollins, her sister Kim, is being brought up against brought up to the parole commission, and um, Kim is like, I'm really remorseful. I've turned myself to God. I want to help my sister raise her baby if possible, and all that stuff. Um, and Kim is, let out on parole. Um, Benson and her start talking afterwards, and Ron's like, I want to help my sister because it's either her living with me, or in a shelter, this badass shelter, this worse off place for in a shelter. And Benson's like, well, next time you cover for your sister, you're done. Um, so that's yeah, I agree with Benson. I mean, it's kind of reminded me of how when Finn, I don't remember exactly what season and episode this was, but I remember season like so many like at least 10 seasons back, where Finn was Finn had gotten in trouble with Kragan because Finn had done something against Kragan's wishes, or he had done something without telling Kragan or something, and Finn was like, if it was Liv or Elliot, you would have let them have a pass, because, which is true, because like for the 12 seasons that Stabler was there, Kragan almost always let, Stabler and Liv get away with shit that Finn wouldn't have been able to get away with. Um, and he brought that up in that one particular episode. I can't remember what it was, but I remember he brought it up specifically, and it just the whole thing with Rollins kind of reminded me of that, and how Rollins is always getting in trouble with Benson, and then Benson's like, you know what, um, uh, don't do it again, because if you do it again, it's your ass. It's basically the same thing she does. She does something stupid, and then Benson's like, don't do it again, otherwise it's your job. Um, I'm thinking it's because maybe Benson sees herself in Rollins, but I'm just like, Rollins is honestly getting on my nerves with this shit. Like, she does something stupid, and then doesn't get in trouble for it. Like, I mean, I just hate the fact that that happens. I mean, I get it that it's most likely because it's the same. It was the same thing with Liv when Craig was in charge. But it's kind of annoying when she. To me, it's kind of annoying when she does it. I don't know because it's like I don't know. I don't really know why I can. It's annoying, but it's just annoying to me every single time that Rollins gets in trouble, but she gets a pass. It's like it's really kind of annoying. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just me being prejudiced because I love Benson and everything, but I don't know. But uh, it's just yeah. Anyway, so uh, later at Rollins' apartment, she gets a call from Benson, and then before she leaves, she drills into Kim, you know, don't do this, like, don't do this, don't do that, because if you do, we go into the shelter, a halfway house or whatever. Um, Then at the hospital, Benson Felton Rollins saying that Jenna Miller, who is a woman who was on the treadmill and picked up by police, she had a high blood alcohol content, had anal bleeding, bruising, bite marks of the breast and thighs, um, and it's just kind of just like damn. Anyway, so Benson says that Jenna didn't say she was raped at first, but when her husband comes in, that's when she claims she's raped. Um, so Benson talks with Jenna, and then Rollins talks with the husband. At least I think that's what happened. And so Benson's like, who raped you? And she's like, a guy named Phil. And and she agrees to a rape kit or something. Yeah, she agrees to a rape kit. And then Rollins finds out from her husband that like Jenna had said previously, that she goes into the city to blow off steam and you know uh, just kind of um, just decompress and everything. And so later Rollins is like, I don't really think she's telling the whole truth, which you know it comes out to be true, that she isn't saying everything that she knows. um Carisi and Finn then go to the Wooster Hotel. When I saw Wooster Hotel, I wasn't sure if they were being trying to be funny with the name of the hotel or if that's the actual name of a hotel somewhere, because I felt like they were trying to be funny with that, and I don't know why, because it wasn't funny. Like if they were trying to be funny about it, it wasn't. But that, I mean, I don't know. That's just me. Um, and the bartender there says, she comes in a couple times a month, but never pays her own drinks. And the guy from last night paid for her drinks as well, and his name is actually Michael Wheeler. Um, and when Creasy and Finn go to talk to this guy, he reveals that he knows her as a prostitute. Benson and Rollins go then to confront her about this, and she's like, "Yeah, it's true. She started it a year ago when a guy she slept with from a bar had left her $200 before he left." Her husband then opens the door and reveals that she's supposed to be this world record pole vaulter, and um, she had didn't qualify for Rio because of a technicality. Um, so she says that basically, if the rape and prostitution go public, it would ruin her. I mean, she doesn't say specifically prostitution because her husband still doesn't know at this point that she's a prostitute. So, um, Anyway, so everyone is at the station, watching her try out for the Olympics or for the Olympic team. And after Barbara finds out that she has been moonlighting as a prostitute, um, he gets all kind of concerned about it, which is I don't really blame him for, because people don't take too kindly to the fact that a rape victim turns out to be a prostitute, because they assume that she must have really wanted it and everything, which is not true. So, um, Finn then says that Wheeler really didn't flinch uh, when they questioned him about the rape allegation or brought up the rape allegation. So he's thinking that it's most likely not his first time raping a prostitute. Then a little bit later, when Rollins is talking to Carisi, Kim shows up unexpectedly, and Rollins really isn't happy about that. Um, I don't really understand why she's that mad. I mean, she's that mad that Kim came to the station. I mean, so what? I mean, it's not like she's gonna shit the place up. So what the fuck are you mad about? I mean, so what if she came over? I mean, unless she was supposed to be watching her baby, there's no, why the fuck you mad? Like why the fuck you mad? Um. Anyway, I mean it's just that whole scene was kind of weird. Why Rollins was that upset? I mean, I don't really. I mean, what is she honestly really gonna do? Anyway, um, Finn has tracked down that some other working girls who know about Wheeler and had encounters with him. So when Finn and Creasy go to the Lennox Lounge or Lennox Grand Lounge or something like that, and hear from one of those working girls that he pretty much did the same thing to her as he did to Jenna, and um, and he basically paid her for a certain type of sexual encounter, um, or just paid for sex in general, and but because he paid for it, he thought he could do whatever the fuck he wanted. um, Rollins at the same time is talking to another working girl who pretty much is reading the same exact experience. Um, and I think the one that's talking to Rollins said that she was willing to testify. Um, so back at the station, they tried to strategize about where to go next since there's only one or two working girls that will testify, Jenna excluded. And Benson says they could try to persuade her to testify. So Benson and Rollins go to Jenna and tell her the previous victims, but at first she really isn't willing to come forward and testify and everything. But Benson then tells her there's another way. She could call Wheeler, pretend that she wants to talk, like she wants to, I guess have another encounter or sexual encounter with him, wear a wire, and then get him to say what he did to her. So she pretty much agreed to do it straight away, but she needs to do it right then and there. So they have her wired up, go to the hotel that they agreed to. He asks, right when he sits down, he's like, "How much do you want?" Um, she doesn't know what he's talking about, and he's like, well, since you called the cops on me, this must be a shakedown. Um, in the middle of this whole thing, um, after she's like, "Tell me you're sorry. Um, tell me that what you did to me and everything." Her husband comes walking right in, um, and Wheeler pretty much spills the beans that Jenna's a hooker, and since she is one, she can't be raped. Um, I'll save that thought for later because it gets kind of worse from here. Um, Jenna then later on blamed herself for putting herself in this position. Rollins was like, well, yes, you may have wanted, sex, but you explicitly said that you didn't want rough sex. So you wanting to get out of it, out of having rough sex, is your prerogative. You didn't want to do it. So it's not your fault that you did this. Jenna then says that she doesn't want to go to trial because she doesn't want to risk her future in the Olympics. So later on at the station, Finn and Rollins, find out that Jenna called someone. Um, Jenna called someone um, after the rape. Um, Named Derek Collar for 17 minutes. Turns out he's her agent. Finn and Creasy talk to him and he reveals she did tell him about it. And he says that he wants to push it back until after Tokyo, but come on, it's not really feasible because, I mean, this guy could, really end up hurting, like, hurting women worse than what he's already done or killing them. So it's not really feasible to do that. Um, Everyone then tells Collar agreed to to testify and they kind of try to continue to figure out what to do next. And then she gets a text from him saying that they need to terminate their professional relationship, even though um, he would like for her to get better. He wants to terminate the relationship. Now she's like, my life is over, and Wheeler will just end up getting away with it. Benson's like, not if you testify. So she agrees to do it. On cross examination, the defense attorney pretty much describes what he asks Benson, um, or what Benson has told him as lying. Barbara then questions Jenna, says it wasn't her intention to solicit. She did it because she liked the attention she got from guys since they look at her as just a woman and not an athlete. Um, but when they got upstairs, he started getting rough, and she didn't want that. But the defense attorney is like spins it so that she wanted the publicity and badgers her to the point that she starts taking off her clothes. Um, Creasy and Rollins then try, talk to Jenna, and it's clear she's probably suffering from mental illness. And during the trial, Barbara brings in a psychologist who says that Jenna is bipolar. And the defense attorney then suggests that because of the bipolar disorder and the person's need to feel superior, a person might, make up a rape allegation. Barbara then calls Jenna to the stand again. But after court, Barbara reveals that Wheeler's attorney got spooked that Jenna will be taking the stand now that she's in a clear state of mind. And Barbara accepted the deal of assault too, which would get him anywhere from 2 to 5 years in prison. And while watching the press conference Jenna is making, Benson tells Rollins to not go behind her back again, to talk to a victim about her testimony, which is an example of Rollins doing shit behind her superior's back and her getting away with it. Just saying. Um, Back at home, Rollins sees her baby, in the playpen, and I'm staying over there. I'm freaking out because I'm thinking Kim is not there at all. I'm thinking she's like she fled again, possibly because she feels like Rollins isn't supporting her or anything. She's just condemning her, and I'm seriously thinking that Kim is just fucking just left up and left the baby there. That's what I'm thinking until Kim, says something from off screen, and and Rollins ends up going to the bathroom where Kim is and sees that Kim has pills and assumes she's taking them. But it turns out Kim has bipolar disorder as well and is taking lithium for it, and has been on meds for about a year. Um, so that's the whole episode. Um, Now, I want to say that I was like, when they told us, or when they showed us that Kim was bipolar, I was like, why did you make her have bipolar disorder? Like, why? I don't understand. I felt like the only reason why they did it was because they wanted us to make us feel sorry for Kim. Uh, I mean, she did. Why can't she have just? Why can't a woman who did something wrong in her life just have been wrong and did something wrong in her life? Why does she have to have a disorder? Like, there are women who do shit in this world just because they want to do something and just because they're bad and evil and stuff. That's just it. I mean, it may not happen all that often, but it sure as hell happens. So why did you make her have fucking bipolar disorder just because she's a woman? Like, I felt like it was just because she's a woman. She had to have bipolar disorder, and like, that's the only reason why she did something evil. No, like, just because it's rare for women to do something evil just because doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. So why can't you just have Kim just be evil just because? I mean, I just felt like I just felt like it was a very PSA moment, and it's just like it just really just I just didn't not like the fact that they made her try to make us feel sorry for her. I don't feel sorry for Kim at all. I mean, yeah, I mean I'm glad that they're tackling mental illness, but I just felt like it was a very PSA moment with both Jenna doing the press conference about her bipolar disorder and making Kim have bipolar disorder. I just felt like it was too much of a PSA. Like, I mean, do it in such a subtle way that it doesn't come off as a PSA announcement. So I just please just don't just try. I mean, I don't know if it's the writers or the executive producers or both or what, but it just felt like it just really was a little bit too much for me. Um, Now, as far as the whole issue of you can't rape a prostitute, yeah, she may be agreeing to sex in the beginning, but she's agreeing. I mean, you're agreeing. They're agreeing to a certain type of sexual encounter. I mean, whether it's like someone is, whether it's like someone in like you two meet in a BDSM sort of BDSM environment, or just a regular old like on a street corner or whatever. I mean, you're consenting to a certain type of sexual encounter, and if a person is making it clear that they don't want to do a certain type of sexual preference, then be a fucking courteous person and don't fucking do it. I mean, they have the right to do that. I'm sorry, but they have the right to do that. I mean, this is sort of like when guys do this, it just goes to the male entitlement thing where because they're paying for it, they have the right to do it, or because they're men, they have the right to do it because she happens to be a prostitute. Like, no, like, fucking no. Like, I mean, trying to think of like a comparison, but I mean, there's nothing really to. I mean, I don't really think I can compare this situation to anything, so I'm not gonna try. But anyway, um, Yeah, I mean that's really all I thought about the whole episode. I mean, if they hadn't like done the whole bipolar disorder, not only with Jenna but with Kim, I would have been completely happy with how they went about it. I would have been completely happy about it because they brought up the issue of bipolar disorder, and I felt like they did it in a way that that pretty much brought it justice. I mean, I'm sure if I had thought about it longer, there may have been like some things that would have changed. But I mean, at the moment, I can't think of anything, so I'm really happy with how they did it. Prior to the scene where Rollins is watching Jenna make the announcement about talking about her bipolar disorder. So yeah. So basically, in 2 weeks, SVU comes on. So um, this guy named Gary, this actor named Gary Cole stars as the perpetrator in next week's episode, and it looks very heavily influenced with what's going on recently in the media with Trump and how we found out that Trump has been recorded saying that um, he's bragging about grabbing women's vaginas. I'm not gonna say the other word, but he's grabbing women's vaginas and kissing them without their permission because he finds them attractive, um, and all this stuff. So this episode is very heavily influenced with Trump, even though they claim that even though the people at SVU claim that these events are not derived from any particular story in the media at the moment, which, come on, we all know it's not true. But anyway, so and so basically Gary Cole's character is claiming that women just throw themselves at him and all that stuff. Um so as far as predictions for that, um I don't know. I don't think I really thought about my predictions for that. Um I don't know. I try not to make predictions with SVU because they what they manage to do is they love to put in the preview for um next week's episode um that they love to do what they love to do is that they love to put in something that looks looks like it's going to be an issue, but really isn't. One example comes from I'm pretty sure it was last season. If not, it was like very like the first episode or two of this season, but I think it was last season where Benson lost sight of Noah and um, at the park, and what happened was he was just off somewhere else that she didn't think he had gone to. Um, and basically it was just like they made it look like he was like either kidnapped or killed or whatever. So yeah, I mean, it just yeah, they have this thing of putting in scenes from an episode that make it look like something bad is gonna happen to a character, but then it's really just an innocent scene where nothing actually happens. So I tend to not want to try to predict SVU anymore because of shit like that. And it's been happening ever since they were left. To my opinion, it's been happening ever since they were left. So that's why I try not to, predict what's gonna happen in future episodes because of that alone. So I guess the only thing I can really say is he's gonna get away with it. That's basically what it is. He's gonna get away with it because um, so far Trump has been getting away with it to this point. So I'm assuming he's gonna get away with it. Get away with it. I mean, anyway, um, because art imitates life. That's why I'm thinking art imitates life. Um, anyway, um, as you can see, this is coming. This SVU recap is coming on Friday. Um, and the reason for that is because I have been finding myself, you know, staying up a little bit too late on Wednesday nights because of watching SVU, Chicago PD, and Criminal Minds, and they all come on at different times. And so I just I uh really don't want to keep staying up too late on Wednesday night. So I was thinking of just watching SVU, Criminal Minds, uh, Chicago PD, Rosewood, and Grey's Anatomy all on Thursdays, and then making all my videos, all 5 of those videos on Fridays. So that's what I'm going to do from now on is do that. Maybe I'll make a video once in a while on Thursdays and then post it on Thursdays. But from now on, pretty much for the most part, I'm gonna make all 5 of these videos on Fridays. Um, and then kind of like um, go from there and then do it that way. That's what I'm thinking about doing. So that's what I'm pretty much gonna do. Seeing as how I'm putting this video on Friday. So with that said, hit like if you like this video, hit subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and I will see you in 2 weeks on SVU. Bye.